Ellsworth Raymond Bumpy Johnson, a name synonymous with Harlem's underworld, was more than just a gangster. He was a complex figure, a ruthless crime lord with a soft spot for his community. This essay delves into the life of Bumpy Johnson, exploring his rise to power, his criminal activities, and his lasting impact on Harlem and American organized crime. Bumpy Johnson's story is one of ambition, violence, and a unique brand of street justice. From his early days as a numbers runner to his reign as Harlem's unofficial mayor, Bumpy's life was a captivating blend of crime and community engagement. Born in 1905 in Charleston, South Carolina, Bumpy Johnson's life was shaped by the harsh realities of racism and poverty. His criminal career began at an early age, and by the 1930s, he had become a prominent figure in Harlem's underworld. This essay will examine Bumpy Johnson's life through a factual lens, exploring his criminal enterprises, his relationships with other prominent figures in organized crime, and his complex legacy that continues to fascinate and inspire to this day. Bumpy Johnson's path to notoriety was paved with the social injustices of his time. Born Ellsworth Raymond Johnson on October 31, 1905 in Charleston, South Carolina, he was thrust into a world where the color of his skin dictated his opportunities and his future. Born in the Jim Crow South, he faced relentless racism and limited opportunities. The oppressive environment of the South during this era was marked by segregation laws that enforced racial discrimination and inequality. African Americans were systematically denied basic rights and opportunities, creating a cycle of poverty and disenfranchisement. This fueled a rebellious spirit in young Bumpy, leading him to challenge authority from a young age. His defiance was not just a reaction to the injustices he faced, but also a means of survival. He learned early on that to navigate a world stacked against him, he had to be both cunning and fearless. His family, recognizing his rebellious nature and fearing for his safety, sent him north to live with relatives in Harlem. The move was a desperate attempt to provide him with a better life, away from the lynchings and racial violence that plagued the South. Harlem, known as the cultural capital of Black America, promised a new beginning. However, Harlem, while offering a haven from the overt racism of the South, presented its own set of challenges. The neighborhood was a melting pot of cultures and ideas, but it was also a place where economic hardship and social strife were rampant. The Great Migration had brought thousands of African Americans to the north, and Harlem was bursting at the seams. The streets were rife with poverty, crime, and gang activity. The lack of economic opportunities led many young men to turn to illegal activities as a means of survival. Harlem's underworld was a dangerous yet alluring world where power and respect could be earned through cunning and ruthlessness. Bumpy, with his quick wit and imposing physique, quickly found himself embroiled in the city's underworld. His ability to think on his feet and his physical prowess made him a natural fit for the rough-and-tumble life of a street hustler. He was drawn to the excitement and the potential for quick money. He began his criminal career as a street hustler, engaging in petty theft and gambling. These activities were the entry points into a larger world of organized crime. Bumpy's sharp mind and strategic thinking allowed him to navigate the dangerous waters of Harlem's criminal landscape with relative ease. His natural leadership qualities and strategic mind did not go unnoticed, and he quickly rose through the ranks of Harlem's criminal underworld. He earned the respect of his peers and the fear of his enemies. Bumpy's rise was not just about brute force, it was about intelligence, strategy, and an uncanny ability to read people and situations. He started as a low-level enforcer for Madame Stephanie St. Clair, a notorious gangster who controlled Harlem's lucrative numbers racket. Madame St. Clair, known as Queenie, was a powerful figure in Harlem's underworld, and working for her provided Bumpy with invaluable experience and connections. This early experience provided him with invaluable insights into the workings of organized crime and honed his skills in violence, strategy, and negotiation, skills that would later prove crucial in his ascension to power. Bumpy's time with Madame St. Clair was a formative period, shaping him into the formidable figure he would become. He learned the importance of loyalty, the art of negotiation, and the brutal realities of maintaining power in a world where betrayal was commonplace. These lessons would serve him well as he navigated the treacherous waters of Harlem's criminal empire, eventually becoming one of the most powerful and respected figures in the city's history. Bumpy Johnson's early criminal career was deeply intertwined with Stephanie St. Clair, known as Queenie, a formidable figure who ruled Harlem's underworld. St. Clair, a shrewd businesswoman and ruthless gangster, recognized Bumpy's potential and took him under her wing. Their partnership, though born out of necessity and ambition, evolved into a complex relationship built on mutual respect and a shared vision for Harlem's future. St. Clair saw in Bumpy a loyal enforcer and a potential successor, someone who could help her maintain control of her vast criminal empire. Bumpy, in turn, learned a great deal from St. Clair. She taught him the intricacies of the numbers racket, the importance of strategic alliances, and the power of wielding influence within the community. Under her tutelage, Bumpy honed his leadership skills, learning to navigate the treacherous world of organized crime. Their alliance was a force to be reckoned with, effectively challenging the encroaching influence of the Italian Mafia, who sought to control Harlem's lucrative rackets. Together, they fought back against the Mafia's attempts to muscle in on their territory, solidifying Bumpy's reputation as a fearless and formidable gangster. Section 4. Harlem's Shadow Ruler, Bumpy's Rise to Power. By the 1940s, Bumpy Johnson's reputation as a shrewd and ruthless operator had solidified his position as one of Harlem's most powerful figures. His journey to the top was not an easy one. Born in Charleston, South Carolina, Bumpy moved to Harlem at a young age, where he quickly became involved in the underworld. His intelligence and strategic mind set him apart from others, allowing him to navigate the dangerous waters of organized crime with precision. He had outgrown his role as an enforcer and had become a kingpin in his own right. Bumpy's rise was marked by his ability to outthink and outmaneuver his rivals. He treated the criminal landscape like a chessboard, always planning several moves ahead. This strategic mindset was crucial in his ascent to power. His influence extended beyond the realm of illegal gambling and into various legitimate businesses. Bumpy understood that to truly control Harlem, he needed to have a hand in both the legal and illegal aspects of the community. He invested in local businesses, ensuring that his presence was felt in every corner of the neighborhood. Bumpy Johnson understood that true power lay not just in brute force, but in cultivating relationships and wielding influence within the community. He built alliances with influential figures, both within the criminal world and in legitimate circles. These relationships were the foundation of his power, allowing him to operate with a level of impunity that few could match. He became a familiar and respected figure in Harlem, known for his generosity and willingness to help those in need. Bumpy's philanthropy was not just a tool for gaining loyalty. It was a genuine part of his character. He often provided food, clothing, and financial assistance to struggling families, earning him the respect and admiration of many. This approach earned him the loyalty of many, further solidifying his grip on power. People saw Bumpy as a protector, someone who would stand up for them when no one else would. This loyalty was a powerful asset, making it difficult for his enemies to challenge his authority. He often stepped in to resolve disputes, mediate conflicts, and provide financial assistance to struggling families and businesses. Bumpy's role as a mediator was crucial in maintaining peace within the community. He had a unique ability to diffuse tensions and find solutions that satisfied all parties involved. This Robin Hood-esque persona made him a folk hero to some, a benevolent protector who looked out for his own. Bumpy's legend grew with each act of kindness, and stories of his generosity spread throughout Harlem. He became a symbol of hope for many, a reminder that there was someone looking out for them. His influence was felt in every corner of Harlem, from the bustling streets to the smoky jazz clubs. Bumpy's reach extended into the cultural fabric of the community. He was a patron of the arts, supporting local musicians and artists, and his presence was a constant in the vibrant nightlife of Harlem. He used his power not just to enrich himself, but also to provide opportunities for his people, challenging the racial barriers that limited their prospects in a segregated society. Bumpy was acutely aware of the systemic injustices faced by African Americans, and he used his influence to fight against these barriers. He funded educational programs, supported Black-owned businesses, and worked tirelessly to create opportunities for his community. His legacy is one of resilience, determination, and a deep commitment to the people of Harlem. Section 5. A Gangster with a Heart of Gold. Bumpy's Complex Legacy. Bumpy Johnson's legacy is a complex one, a blend of admiration and infamy that reflects the contradictions of his life. Born in Charleston, South Carolina, in 1905, Bumpy moved to Harlem at a young age, where he would eventually rise to power. His journey from a troubled youth to a notorious crime boss is a story filled with both darkness and light. He was a ruthless criminal who built his empire on violence and illegal activities. Yet he was also a man who cared deeply for his community and fought against the injustices faced by Black Americans. Bumpy's duality is what makes his story so compelling. On one hand, he was involved in drug trafficking, numbers running, and other illicit enterprises. On the other hand, he was a protector and benefactor to many in Harlem. His generosity was legendary. He donated to local charities, funded scholarships for underprivileged youth, and provided jobs for those who struggled to find legitimate work. Bumpy's acts of kindness were not just limited to financial aid. He also offered protection to those who were vulnerable, ensuring that the elderly and the poor were not exploited by other criminals. He understood the plight of the marginalized and used his position to uplift those around him. However, his criminal activities cannot be ignored. Bumpy's empire was built on the suffering of others, and his hands were stained with the blood of his rivals. His involvement in violent turf wars and his ruthless enforcement of his rule left a trail of destruction. He was responsible for countless acts of violence, extortion, and racketeering. His empire was built on the suffering of others, and his hands were stained with the blood of his rivals. Yet, in the eyes of many Harlem residents, Bumpy was a hero. He stood up to corrupt police officers and politicians, and he fought for the rights of Black Americans during a time when systemic racism was rampant. Despite his flaws, Bumpy Johnson remains a captivating figure in Harlem's history. He was a product of his environment, a man shaped by the harsh realities of racism, poverty, and violence. His life story serves as a reflection of the broader struggles faced by Black Americans in the early to mid-20th century. Bumpy's ability to navigate and manipulate the criminal underworld while also advocating for his community is a testament to his complex character. He fought for his place in a world that sought to keep him down.